title correctly. I made a silent film in Minecraft in 3 days. Since I really enjoy filmmaking and have no film sets to attend to, I decided to just make my own in Minecraft. But that was too easy for me. So I made a set of rules to follow, and they're going to be on screen now. Honestly, the most difficult thing here is the fact that this is done on single player. There's rarely ever one single character on screen whenever you watch films or TV shows. But I did find a workaround considering this, and I'll talk about that later. But of course, a movie needs to be edited in today's standards as well, so I made a rule set for that too, and they're going to be on screen now. So with the rules out the way, let me walk you through these 3 days and how they went. Oh, and spoilers for my short film, Red Handed. I only had one goal in mind for day one, which was to get a film idea, and if I had the time, I could refine it.
There's two really easy genres for filmmakers, and that's going to be comedy and horror, because you know what you're trying to make the audience feel. If you're making a comedy, you got to make the audience laugh. If you're making a horror, you got to make the audience scared.
So I put on a timer and just started jotting down as many ideas as I could. And 3 to 4 minutes into that timer, I was able to get an idea and start expanding on it very quickly.
All right, so 5 minutes are up. This is what we got. This is where things start to get difficult, because now I don't really know how I want this to end.
I knew I couldn't be too stuck up on it since I had an entire week to make this, but films take a while to make. So I spat out random ideas again and picked up on one and called it a day. That was done, I installed some shaders and the flashback mod on Minecraft. I took a bit of time learning it, and it was actually very easy. And that was the basic summary of day one.
I woke up like, what, 20 minutes ago? So I'm gonna be doing some shooting or production.
I had to generate a world to see if it had what I needed, a cave, and hopefully a scary looking one. And so once I found a spot, I began shooting. The only difficulty I had was really just following my own script and trying to pace myself well enough so that the final cut can be 3 minutes. Once that was done, we had an 8-minute recording to work with. And admittedly, this was also a bit difficult to manage, specifically with the camera angles. In film, we have a thing called a shot list. It's as the name implies. If I had this, it'd save a lot of time finding angles and framing, but then again, I had no shot list to begin with, but since I was prepared for this by learning flashback on day one, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. By the end of day two, we finished production and we were ready to move on to editing, but I anticipated that day three would be the hardest day out of all of them. So the footage was more than enough for 3 minutes, and it was reaching nearly 4. So we had 3 other challenges ahead of us instead. As said earlier, stock sounds aren't allowed, so I had to get creative. So I used an eraser, my voice, a plastic fork, and a guitar amp. So I added some editing and effects. They ended up sounding pretty good. Color grading was confusing. The main thing was getting the vibe right and also making sure my images weren't too dark or too bright, which I feel I failed at. Unfortunately, this is all trial and error and there's no shortcuts for me here. But fortunately, all the shots already looked very similar in the original render, so I didn't have to color grade each individual shot. To be honest, the entity was just a last minute thought. I remember a specific scene in the Amazing Digital Circus and I just wanted to recreate that. So I put out my camera, put on a blue screen so I could chroma key it, and it'd be easy. Right? Well, since I used my screen to chroma key instead of using a normal blue screen, there was a lot of pixels that just weren't cooperating with me. So the image had a lot of weird pixels that just weren't meant to be there. I made them work instead. I bumped up the red by a lot and completely took out the green and blue. That way, I can also use those unwanted pixels to give the hand an aura, if you will. That way, the hand looks extremely clean while also giving it some personality. And after that came the ending. I used a stock video of fake blood pouring and chroma keyed it, which is lame, but at the end of the day, it worked. So I don't really care. And with that, Red Handed was finished. If you want to watch the film, it will be on screen now. Thanks for watching.